Okay, so now that you have done your schedules, let's talk about setting up your first surveys right out of training as soon as you finish up with the next couple of videos. So when you're setting up surveys with people that right in the beginning, you have more options as to how to contact these people than say um, just sending the dub video with somebody you've already done a survey with and they're sending it out. So there's two types of scheduling. There's active scheduling or passive scheduling, right? Active scheduling is where you are live with that person at that moment and are asking them to set up an appointment with you or a survey with you. Passive scheduling is when you are sending them a message, an email, something, and you're sending it to them, and then you're just basically not live. You're hoping that communication that you sent to them impacts them enough to go and set up an appointment. Okay, so there are pros and cons to both active and passive. Most of what you're going to be doing after your people that you know, or your warm market, or your circle, is passive. So the pros to passive scheduling is, you're not going to get rejected. You're not asking them to their face, "Would you like to set up an appointment?" And they're not giving you no, or not interested, or call me another time. You're not doing any of that. You're just sending them something. If they do it, they do it. If they don't, you don't have to deal with it. The good thing also about uh, passive scheduling is you do not you could try multiple times. Like, so if the person doesn't respond, you can send them another email or another text. You can just keep sending it to them until they either respond back with "stop sending me messages" or they finally set up an actual survey with you. So which you can't ask people, personally. It's a little bit more challenging to ask people actively over and over and over again. And also with a passive message, if it's crafted well, which we're going to show you how to craft it well, there's a better chance of the initial contact answering it or looking at it. Text messaging, people won't answer their phone. Sometimes people don't check their emails at times. People don't go on their social media at certain times, depending on their personality type. However, we found that like 98%, 99% of people, when they get a text message, they at least read it. So so you do get a little more chance of that initial contact by using text message and sometimes email. And whereas people phone, they see a phone number they don't know off the top of the head, they they won't answer it. So now the cons to passive scheduling is you have less control over it. All right, you're just sending things out and you're hoping that the people schedule it, and you don't know if they don't schedule with you. Is it because they just didn't read it? Is it because they read it and they heard it, or they listened to your video and it didn't sway them to want to do anything, to take action? Or maybe they got it, they read it, they wanted to help you, but kids ran through the house at that particular moment and they didn't set up a time, or they didn't have their calendar, so they checked on their phone, they wanted to talk to their wife or their husband, whatever. So you don't really know what the issue is if somebody doesn't set up you don't have really control. You don't know anything. Um, Also, people tend to procrastinate with passive. When you're active and you're speaking to someone, and you're like, "You want? Can we set up an appointment?" There's no procrastination. They just say yes or no, and it happens right there, and you know if you have an appointment or not. Where people get emails, texts, they sometimes will just let it sit there and they don't do anything with it. And then you also have a lower success rate because of that. So um, because people procrastinate, because it's not urgent, because they're not talking to you right there. A lot of people don't like to say no to people, and if it's something simple like setting up a survey, if they were active, you were live with them, they might have said yes, versus um, just getting an email or a text message and or seeing something on social media and then taking action themselves. So as far as active scheduling, there are pros and cons to that as well. Um, Pro to active scheduling is just like I said, you have a lower success rate. Well, now you have a higher success rate with active scheduling when you're actually talking to someone live. Whether it's this is why we don't just send the surveys out and let them do it, because when you're live with them, when you're talking to them and you say, "Would you like to set up a would you like us to send you a proposal, they're more likely to say yes, as opposed to here's a survey, they don't have to fill it out, or they procrastinate and don't do it. So you have a higher success rate when you're actively talking to people. Also, there's immediate action, so they immediately have to do it because you're in a conversation. They don't say, we'll do it later or whatnot. And you can kind of get them to do that. And you know the outcome right off the bat. Or you also know, not only do you know the outcome, but you know if there's not a positive outcome, you know what you can change or why they didn't set up an appointment right off the bat. With the as far as cons with active, you have minor rejection. Okay, it's by the way, if somebody rejects you, if someone doesn't want to set up a survey, doesn't want to do it, it's not like they're rejecting you as a person. I'm like, I don't like you, and I don't like the earth, or I don't want to, waste. They just don't want to set up a survey. Don't take it personally, as far as that goes. So, and you get obviously trying to get in touch with people for an active conversation is a little bit harder. Again, you're calling people on the phone if they know exactly who you are, because there's two classes. There's like your super warm market or hot market, like people you know and you talk to, and if you called them on the phone, they would go, oh, your name would pop up. And then there's kind of like the fringe warm market where you have a connection with them, but they're not in your phone, like your neighbor or a friend's parents, right? So they don't know who you are, but you're a friend of their sons or daughters. So they might not pick up the phone just because I don't know the number, right? So let's talk about passive scheduling. Let's talk about some of these ways you can set up these initial appointments. So passive scheduling, you'll see on your training manual, there's a text message, there's an email, different ways you can do this. It's basically just setting up your dub, same thing, using your same dub video, and then you're going to send this text message. So the text basically says, hey, whoever you're sending the text message to, I just got this new job with a green energy marketing company. My job is in market research. I do a survey asking questions about your utility and how you use energy. It's over the computer and the phone and is pretty short. I wanted to see if I could do one with you. If you click this link below, you'll get my schedule and you'll see my times that I'm available. Plus, for helping me out, I get to enter you into a contest that we're having to have 2 of your electric bills paid for by my company. So I really appreciate your help and time. Thank you very much. Cool, right? So you just write that text message, and there you go. All right, so you change it a little bit, you get the gist of it as far as that goes. If you're sending a direct message, a DM or a PM, a private message through like Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or whatever social media that you have, and you're contacting people that way, you can use the same thing as text message. You want to keep it short and sweet. You don't want to go through a whole bunch of detail. If people respond back to you and they're like, they write back to you or they text back to you, it's like, well, and they ask questions, it's just like, again, keep it simple. Don't go through the whole thing about, oh, I'm going to ask you questions about this or that or what's in the survey. Just say, yeah, it's short, it's 20 minutes, when's a good time, as far as that goes. I can do it over the computer, I can do it over your phone. Keep it short and simple. All right. If you're doing an email, okay, you could take that intro email. We're not going to go through a whole email, but take the introduction email that you would normally use for people you don't know, that you want your survey takers to send out, and just adapt it a little bit, right? And you can send it to people you do know or you kind of know. All right, so that's those are the passive methods. Your active methods, all right? So active message, actual scheduling, if I can talk, active scheduling would be something like, let's say, like a door knock, right? Now, meaning your neighbors, or you're going, you know someone who particularly lives in a house, you're just going to go knock on the door because you don't have their phone number, okay? Now, I'm not asking you to go door to door. You don't have to do that for this job. And especially since if you do go door to door, some reps might do that. You might just say, look, I'm just gonna go door to door and knock on people's doors. Fine. It's just a little, I don't really have an approach for that, because you're literally talking to them right there, and then you say you want to set up a time. All you're trying to do is get them to set up a time for a survey. So if you're right in front of them in the door, then saying I want to set up another time to talk to you over the phone, it's not really awkward. It's just weird. It's like, why don't you just do it now if it's short? So Now you could phrase that any way. You can say, hey, Ms. Jones, you know, the reason I won't do it now is because I have to enter the information into the computer, and the fact is also I have to show you some things on your computer that we walk through. So I'm just setting up appointments, you know, something like that. You can phrase it however you want. But what I'm actually talking about when I'm talking about door to door, I'm talking about knocking on a door. It's not going door to door to try to get appointments. It's talking to, let's say everyone has like the wavy neighbor, right? Like you wave to them, they wave to you. You don't know their name, but you know you see them because they live across the street or something like that. Or if you want to talk to someone who you do business with, like your doctor, your dentist, you know, your the guy who mows your lawn, something like that. You know, the guy, the deli guy, you know. So I remember when I was selling knives, I used to always go to a food truck called Are You Hungry, right? And so, because it was Rutgers, Are You Hungry? Get it? So, and so this would be like Raul was his name, right? So I was always used to do business with him. So when I got the job selling knives, I asked if I could set up an appointment with him, you know, face to face, right? So the key to the face-to-face appointment is just to keep it really short and simple, right? So yeah, you know, introduce yourself. You know, hi, my name is Matt Wash. If I was going to talk, let's say my wavy neighbor, right? So I seen them all the time. I don't really know their names, right? So I would knock on the door. They answer the door. I go, hi, my name is Matt Washington. Hey, I live across the street. Oh, yeah, hey, how are you? Remember, two things people want to know all the time. Who are you? What do you want? Right? That's it. Whether it's phone call, it's door knock, whatever. Who are you? What do you want? So yeah, my name's Matt. I live across the street. How are you? Oh, good. Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, the reason I stopped by is I just realized that I didn't really know who you are. I live across the street. Figured if my house was on fire, I wouldn't even know what to call you or ask you for help. So I figured it was a nice day out. I knock on the door, say hello, and you know, find out who you are, and or learn your name. Oh, my name's Dan. Oh, great, Dan. You know, hey, thanks. It was nice meeting you here. What do you do, by the way? Oh, well, we're blah 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 blah. So, you know, I'm an engineer. Oh, cool. And then they usually will ask you, what do you do? Right. So when you ask them, they reciprocate with the same thing. I say, well, it's funny actually. What I do is I work for a clean energy company, and I do surveys with people over the phone or like a web conference type of thing to get their opinion on like renewable energy and stuff. It's pretty cool. I didn't even think of this, but you know, would you be okay if I did one for you? It doesn't take any time. I'm not selling anything. It's just to ask you some questions about. I don't want to do it right now, just because I literally just wanted to come over and say hello. But would that be something you'd be up for? Done. All right. So yes, no, great. If they say yes, set them up for done. All right. Now moving on to phone. So the phone, when you're calling people to set up appointments, this is the most effective. This is what I would recommend for probably 75% of the people on your names list that you worked on, right? People that you know. It's easier to talk to these people. You're not calling a stranger. Again, as I said, they don't procrastinate. um, and again, you're in control. You're not waiting. Like if you say, look, I'm going to get done with this training. I'm going to go out and bang out 20 surveys, you know, my first couple of days. Great. The best way to do that is not to send out a bunch of texts and hope for people to get back to you with times. You know, the best way to do that is to dive in and make phone calls, call these people, and set up your appointments. Now you should have a long list of people that you can call. Same thing with or if you can't get in touch with them, if you don't know their phone number, you might even want to, instead of trying to do the DM thing or the text thing, obviously you can't text them, but maybe you know them on social media, you might want to say to them, instead of sending them the video, it's just to say, hey, Stevie, your friend Steve, hey, I have a question. I just got this new job. I have excuse me, I just got this new job with this, you know, energy company, and I just want to ask your parents a quick question about like their energy bill. Let's say you're trying to get a parent's phone number. Can I get their phone number? I just want to send them a text or give them a call. Keep it simple, right? That's how you can do that. So, but the point being is, phone's the best. If you can find someone's phone number, it works great. All right, so let me show you how to call people. All right, so in this part of the video, we're going to go through how to actually contact or call people, what to say on the phone. Now, again, if you're sending text messages, you're sending your dub videos, that's one way to do it. If you're doing passive scheduling, this is active scheduling. Active scheduling is great. Well, one, it's over the phone, so people can't see you read. But if you turn to, in your training manual, you should have something called warm market approach and then an acquaintance approach. We're going to go through both of those right now. All right. So in your warm market approach, I'm literally going to just role play it, what the call would sound like right now. So ring, ring, ring. Now this is, oh, by the way, there's two approaches, right? There's three types of people who exist on planet Earth, right? There's people who you know really well, your parents, your friends, anybody you would, literally just call and be on a first name basis with. Then that circle is usually, for most people, is pretty small, right? Then the bigger circle is people you kind of know, right? Which we'll talk about second, all right? So these are the people, this is like your neighbor, your wavy neighbor, your doctor, your teachers, or professors, people you're acquainted with, you have a connection to them, but you don't really talk to them very much. You don't really know them that well, but you just know who they are. They kind of, sort of, maybe kind of know who you are, right? And then the biggest circle is people you don't know at all, right? You have no contact with at all, right? So this first approach is for people that you're in that inner circle. The second approach is for the second circle. And then you're just going to use your dub and your referrals for the third circle. But the key is you want to perfect your presentation while you're in your inner circle and your second level circle. Because when you get to people you don't know at all, you got to know everything. You got to be good at everything. You got to get it smooth. It's got to be good. It's got to be quick. You don't want to do like 3 people you know and then go and talk to either somebody you completely have no acquaintance with whatsoever. Because what you want to be doing in the beginning is just learning how to do the survey and get your timing down and work out all the bugs. When you get to people you don't know at all, you want to have all those things ironed out, and now you just want to be able to build rapport with them. Get to know them a little bit, make them feel comfortable with you, and not have to worry about, am I clicking in the right place? How's the video set up? Where am I doing? Like, you don't want to do all that stuff, right? That's why we start with people you know, and then you move out. So let's go through the first one. So this is like you're calling your best friend's parents, or you're calling a neighbor, or you're calling a coworker who you're good friends with, right? So I'm going to use Mr. Nelson. He was one of the people that I called right off the bat. So ring, ring, ring. Hello. Hi, is Mr. Nelson? Yeah, who's this? It's me. It's Matt. It's Matt Washington. How's it going? Oh, it's going good. Great. All right. Well, hey, the reason I'm calling is I just got this new job with a renewable energy company. Now, my job is to conduct a phone survey to find out what people think about their utility and renewable energy alternatives. Just so you know, I don't have anything to sell. It's just a survey. So I wanted to know if I could do one for you. It's real short, and I do it over the phone and like while you're by your computer. Now, I do need to do 10 appointments before Monday to complete my work assignment, because I just got started. So if we could set up a call for Saturday morning, maybe at like 10, or would a little bit later in the afternoon at like 12 be better for you? 12 works. Great. Mr. Nelson, thank you so much. You don't know how much this helps me out. All I need from you is I need your email address, so I can kind of send you a confirmation and a little video conference link. mrnelson@gmail.com. Great. All right. Hey, thank you again. I'm putting you down on my calendar right now for Saturday at 12, and I will talk to you then. Okay. Bye. That's it. That's the approach. Okay. So hopefully you were reading along. I don't know if it sounded like I was reading along. It probably didn't. However, if I share my screen, I was, right? So here's my screen right here. I'm literally just reading it word for word. Okay. So I practiced it a couple of times. I've written this, but you have to practice it and say it a couple of times, but it's very, we didn't talk about solar. We didn't talk about all kinds of stuff, right? And that's just normal. If they can do the time you ask, they'll say yes. If they can't, then they'll say no, or they'll offer a different time, or they'll say, oh, I'm busy on Saturday, and you go to a different time. All right, so this is how you call people that you know. All right, this again works with, you have to practice it a couple times. Like I said, I would take some time after this video before you make a call and just read it out loud to someone, right? Small talk is you make small talk, you read through it, and you're good to go. Excuse me. So here are some common questions that you might get, all right? So first one here is, how long will this take? Usually they'll ask this somewhere in here, like they'll interrupt you. Like they'll say, well, how long does it take? Well, Mr. Nelson, not long at all. Usually takes about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes tops to get through like the entire thing. So can we do tomorrow at 11, or would 12 be better for you? All right, so just say it's short, all right? So it's not a lot of time. If they ask, well, what's the company you're working for? They might not, but they're not gonna ask a lot of questions. It's almost like if I called Mr. Nelson and said, hey, Mr. Nelson, can you give me a ride to the airport? He wouldn't be like, well, what's the flight number? What airline are you taking? Like, he wouldn't ask all these questions, right? He's a friend of mine, a friend of my family's. He wouldn't ask those questions. He would just say, yes, I can do it, or no, I can't do it. That would be the two answers I would get. But these are just on the offshoots that you get of some random question. So the name of the company is Bright Futures. They're a marketing company for like a number of renewable energy organizations. So can we do this day or that day? They're not going to know Bright Futures. This is great. Now they know the name of the company. It's not a big deal. If they say they're busy or it's not a good time, busy doesn't mean that that they can't do it. It just means they can't do it at the time that you offered, right? So sometimes you'll say, oh, can I do Saturday at like at 10, or would maybe 12 be better? And they go, well, we're kind of busy Saturday morning. All right, well, how about Saturday evening? Maybe at 5, or would 7 o'clock be better? Whatever times you have in your schedule, right? So just ask different times, right? So you can say, okay, Mr. Nelson, last thing I want to do is mess up your busy schedule. Is that a bad day, or are those just bad times? Oh, Saturday, we're not even going to be around all day. Okay, how about, offer time, Sunday 5 or 6 be better? Again, you should have your schedule in front of you so you know your times. That's why the video right before this is about scheduling. So you have your times in front of you. You don't want to be like fumbling around when you're asking for times, right? So you want to have all your spots right in front of it. And then as you set up appointments, you can literally manually book them into 10 to 8 through your Dub video yourself, okay? You just type it in, get their email address, put that in, and then that person's in there. You can do it for them. All right. Now, sometimes you'll talk to someone and they're like, oh, sure, can we do it right now? I'm on the phone with you right now, right? Which is tempting to say, yes, let's do it right now, and then forget the rest of your phone calls. But if you're making phone calls, you don't want to, unless it's the last person you're calling, you don't want to stop making calls. You don't want to do an appointment for one person and now miss getting calling 10 other people. You might get 5 more appointments, right? So if they say, can we do it right now? I have 20 minutes right now. You say, oh, wow. Thank you so much for offering to do that. However, I have like 15 more people I need to call right now to set up appointments. I can't really do it right now. I could do one with you, later on at 8 o'clock or tomorrow at whatever. Make sense? Let me fix that. I don't know why that's a capital there. That'll be fixed when you see this video, when you see this point. All right, anyway, pretty simple, right? So that's it. Keep it short, keep it simple. Don't go into a lot of detail. It's a short survey, it's a short phone call. All right, now, let me stop sharing that one. Let's go to an acquaintance approach. So now this is for somebody, so for example, I remember when I was selling knives, one of the people I called was Randy Alarcon's mom. All right. Now, the only reason I knew Randy from high school, never met her parents, never seen her outside of school, maybe once as her outside of school. And so I didn't know the parents. All I did is I just opened my yearbook. ALA, Alarcon was one of the first people there. I said, I just went through my yearbook and I just contacted everyone that I went to high school with. This, by the way, I did the knife job. I was a junior in college already. So this is 3 years out of high school, right? So remember, key things to remember is, who are you? What do you want? All right. So I'll role play what this sounded like. Hello, can I speak to Miss Alarcon? This is Miss Alarcon. Hi, Miss Alarcon. This is Matt Washington. I'm not sure if you know me, but I graduated Petra Medford High School with your daughter, Randy. Oh, and what she said was, oh, hi. Okay, how are you doing? And I said, good. How's Randy doing? Oh, she's good too. She's still at college? Yeah, she goes to Emory College. Awesome. Well, hey, the reason that I'm calling is I just got this new job with a renewable energy company, doing market research. And they're helping me get some good business experience and pay just some bills that I have. Now, my assignment is to do short surveys with homeowners over the phone to find out how they feel about their utility company and renewable energy alternatives. The job is great because I don't have anything to sell. I just need a little bit of your time. Plus, for participating in the survey, I get to enter you into a contest where the winner gets the utility bills paid for by my company for 2 months. So that's why I thought you'd be nice enough to help me out. I do need to do like 10 of these surveys by Monday. I know it's Friday this weekend, to complete my work assignment. So the survey is really short, and I was just wondering if you'd be available maybe Saturday at like 5 for a phone conversation, or a little earlier at 3 if that would be better for you to talk. Bam, that's how it sounds. Okay, so it's a little bit longer, but he's like, look, I went to church with you I played sports with your son and daughter. Oh, you guys can't see this yet. Share. There we go. Well, you should be, hopefully you're reading along. This should be in your training manual. But again, just reading right from it. Okay, so it's just, hi, can I speak to who you're calling? I went to school with so-and-so. I went to church. I played sports with, my parents. You're my doctor. You're my dentist. Whatever, however you're connected to them in that acquaintance bubble. You were. I had you as my second grade teacher. Whatever. All right. So all you need is that one acquaintance thing, and they know who you are, and then you go into what you're doing. There you go. The one thing I didn't cover here is how to firm up the appointment. It's really important that you firm up the appointment, okay? Because a lot of times people say yes, but they don't write it down, and then they forget, and then blah, blah, blah. Yes, we're going to send them a confirmation email. Still want to firm it up, all right? So the way you firm it up, it's like, oh, Mrs. Alarcon, thank you so much. I know this appointment doesn't mean much to you, but it means the world to me. It really helps me out getting my assignment done this week. I know your time is super important, so I will be really quick. The only thing I need from you is your email address so I can send you like this video link that I have. And I really look forward to speaking with you. Talking with you again, or speaking with you on Friday at 6. Okay, so you got so much. You make it important. We as humans make things important, right? Is the Super Bowl important? Not really. It's just a football game, but we make it important. So 100,000 people show up, and make a big, fantastic thing about it, and now it's important. All right. Nothing's important unless we make it important. So to them, it's just no big deal. But if you make it really important, it makes them feel like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make sure this is really important to them. So I'm not just saying yes and I can blow it off. Sometimes I would say I'm gonna write you down. I'm gonna show this to my manager. I really appreciate it. Put the manager in there. It's a job. It's not just you calling. All right. So those are your phone approaches. As far as, you don't really have any contact to people that you don't know. So this is just the first 2 circles, the really close people who know you immediately. And then this is your broader acquaintance circle. And you can literally stay in those 2 circles for 50, 60, sometimes 100 to 120 people, depending on, and some even more, depending on your circle of influence. But anybody you come in contact with, either know someone, either they live in a house, most likely, all right? So they either know someone who they can do a survey with you, or they can do a survey with you. You can use this for anybody, every single person, do a survey with. All right, you get paid for surveys. So, all right, that's about it for now. Let me wrap this one up. All right, we'll see you in the last couple of videos here. We're almost finished with training.